Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Social Takeoff Podcast. I'm Kelly Hay-Smith, your host, and today we are deep diving into the top content mistakes that travel agents make and how you can fix them. Keep listening. Let's dig in. Welcome to the Social Takeoff Podcast, a podcast for travel professionals who are ready to use social media to help their business take off. I'm Kelly Hay-Smith, your host. I'm travel agent turned social media marketer who now works with multiple seven-figure travel agencies to help them infuse strategy and create a target social plan. I'll be sharing all of the tips and tricks of the trade, as well as content ideas and trends that you should be using to help grow your travel business. Let's get started. Hey y'all, okay, so we are talking content mistakes today, and this can be a touchy subject because nobody likes to hear that they're making mistakes in these areas, but I get asked all the time about content, and so it's hard for me to really, I don't want to ever make someone feel like they're not doing a good job, because let me just say this first and foremost. If you are creating content, if you are consistently posting, you are heads and shoulders above so many people in our industry that are stuck and not creating content. So first and foremost, if you are making content, if you are posting, if you have a plan, you are already ahead of the game. But if you want to learn about content mistakes that I see from travel agents on a regular basis, then this episode is totally for you. So here's something else that I know about travel professionals. They are not content creators. And what do I mean by that? Well, I am a content creator by definition of my job. I actually do create content for a living. I have a digital marketing agency where myself and my team create content for travel agencies. I get paid to create content on the podcast and on YouTube and on my Instagram. Those things are my job. Creating content for you all to learn and creating content for clients to help grow their social presence, to help grow their agencies. Those are my jobs. The only thing that I have to focus on in my job is content creation. There is a difference in content creation and having to create content for your business. All small business owners have to create content because social media and that is how the world revolves now. That's how the world works, right? So no matter what your job is as a small business, maybe you own a small shop or whatever it is, you have to create content to get the word out there. But that's not your whole job. So what I mean by that is travel agents and agencies, their entire job is not content creation. You have a host of things that you have to manage. You're creating quotes and proposals, you're contacting clients, you're booking trips, you're managing those trips, you're planning itineraries, all of those things. That is your business. That's how you make money. But in order to market that business, you have to create content. So I want you to, number one, take a deep breath and stop stressing over the fact that you feel like you're not creating content on the level of a content creator. So if you are following me, if you're following other social media professionals, if you're following travel bloggers or travel influencers, all of those people actually have the job of content creation. The way they are paid is to create content. Your content is that's not your whole job. So let yourself off the hook for the fact that you are not creating content in the way that someone whose entire job is to create content. Okay? So that's the first thing I want you to do is take a deep breath and realize that your job is not content creation. It is part of your job. It's not your whole job. Therefore, the fact that you're not creating it like that's your full-time job, that's not your fault. That's cool. You're good. You're doing a great job. Okay. So that's that. I'm going to get that out of the way first. But now let's talk about the top content mistakes that I see travel agents make on a regular basis. And then how can you change them? Okay. So let's dive in to number one. The number one content mistake, I guess I probably should have done this backwards, but we're going to just go with it because that's who I am. I don't know if it's the number one mistake. Let's say that this the first mistake. Actually, it's not the number one mistake. The last one I'm going to talk about is the number one mistake. So I got it in the right order. Okay, let's stop babbling like the Gilmore Girls and get back to it. Okay. The first mistake we're going to talk about, y'all, is posting too many hot deals. Now, if you're listening to this on a podcast and not watching the video of the podcast, I'm saying hot deals in air quotes because when you post hot deals all the time, you look like Expedia or one of the other booking sites because that's what they're posting, right? You're going to start getting, and I promise you, because my phone is somewhere in this room, when I open Instagram after I'm done recording this, Expedia will be at I'll have because I've said the word so many times, I will have 1,000 posts from them. But that's what that type of booking engine posts. Check out this deal. We are inundated with hot deals and sales and promotions, right? And there's a place for that in your travel content, but it is not in every post. It's not every day, and it's most likely not every week. You want to focus less on hot deals because, again, we're going to turn off when we see that all the time because it just comes up like another sales post, like somebody who's just trying to sell me something rather than coming off like a service. We've talked about this in the last 2 episodes, but I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. Your offer is not the destination or the hot deal. Your offer is your service. You are the offer. You are what sets you apart from Expedia and Booking.com and booking natively with whatever vendor it is that they want to visit. Your service is what sets that apart. So if we're focusing always on hot deals, then you're showing them what's available and not telling them why they should book it with you instead of just going to the vendor and booking it directly. Or someplace that they can get Expedia points and save $2 a night on a room in 100 years. What sets it apart is you. So if all you're seeing is hot deal after hot deal after hot deal, number one, they're turning off, they're scrolling by, they're not listening because they just feel like they're being sold to all the time. And number two, you're not giving them the reason why that hot deal matters with you. So I truly suggest saving hot deals for things that really are. So when Royal releases a new promotion, when Disney releases a new promotion, when whatever it is, post it once or twice. Sandals has 777 every week, right? So you get a new deal every week. Should you be posting that on your grid and your Facebook page every single week? My answer, no. I'm going to tell you a couple ways that you can post it when it comes out without looking over salesy, but I'm not telling you to be afraid to sell. I am telling you to change your idea of your offer. Sell your service rather than the destination because you're what sets that apart. So, okay, save those salesy posts, those really hard-hitting promotional advertisement style posts for things that will matter. Because here's the other thing that I know about this pieces of content, right? You're not very, very rarely are you going to get a new client from an ad post that hasn't already been considering that. So what your serve content, so I like to use the ideology or the formula of serve, sell. So you serve 4 times as much as you sell. And what that means is you teach and you inform and you build trust and you build likability with these potential clients and you get them to know you. You engage with them 4 times as much as you sell to them in an ad style post, right? So we're going to serve more than we sell. And here's the thing. All of those serving posts, those building trust posts, those showcasing expertise, those showcasing what it is that you do, those posts where you're priming them for that sales post. So that way you are priming that audience to be ready when that ad post goes live. So they've been watching your post about an all-inclusive resort. Yeah, I think an all-inclusive resort would be amazing. Where do we want to go? And then they see a post of yours about should they choose Jamaica or Mexico or whatever it is. And they're watching that. They're like, okay, now they're starting to narrow down what they want to do because you're teaching them about the destinations. Do I want a Dreams Resort or do I want Sandals Resorts? And what side of Jamaica do I want to go to? And they're learning these things from your posts. They're thinking about it. Yeah, that's in the back of my mind. Maybe we'll do that next summer. And they've learned all this. And then all of a sudden, a good deal comes out and you do post it. They are primed and ready and saying, oh, well, now's the time because this has happened. But if you hadn't primed them for that post, if you hadn't been teaching them about this and building their interest and showcasing why they would book that with you and teaching them about it, when you post that sales post, it falls flat because they're not ready. And that is what changes. And so too many hot deals is going to cost you clients. And so fix that by serving more and saving those posts, those heavy hitting posts for the hot deals when it actually is going to hit well. But where can you post more sales types posts? Where can you showcase those 777s from Sandals every week? Where can you remind people of the promotions that are going on at Disney or Disney Cruise Line or Royal Caribbean without posting it on your grid all the time? Your stories, because they will actually have to tap to your stories. They can tap through. If they recognize that you are posting things there, then they may check it, but it's a lot less intrusive into their feed for you to post it on stories, and it disappears after 24 hours. So don't post it every day, but once a week or something like that, once every other week, and maybe every Wednesday when the Sandals 777 releases, you have a 777 template and you just drop in whatever the new Sandals thing is on Wednesdays and you put it up there, and they know that that's where it is every Wednesday, but it's not kind of intrusive, and you're serving them at the same time. Okay, on to the next one. The next content mistake that I see is posting for the sake of posting. And this one is, there's so much that goes into this, like the reason this is a mistake. So I'm going to try to not make this one an entire episode because it totally could be, but posting just to post is a waste of your time. If you are resorting to the old Man Crush Mondays and that becomes Mickey Mouse and Foodie Fridays and it's just a random picture of a meal you had on a cruise, if that's what you're posting, you're not teaching, being insightful, you're not building authority, you're not letting somebody get to know you, you're doing none of the pieces. All of your content should come back to the know, like, and trust factor. They should be either getting to know you or your agents if you're an agency owner. They should be getting to like you, meaning you're relating to them, whether that's talking about traveling with small kids and they know that they can relate to you, or traveling with food allergies, so they know that they're like, oh yeah, that they're connecting, they're relating to you, or you even using GIFs, like memes, GIFs, GIFs, whatever. Using those to communicate with your audience as well. They're starting to see, oh yeah, well, she uses Gilmore Girls all the time and I love that show, or I don't like that show and I don't want to work with her, or I do love that show and I want to work with her. Whatever that is, like, it either relates to you or it turns them off, and good marketing also turns people off. So, and then the trust is the insightful content and showcasing your expertise and sharing that you are working with, that you understand what they're trying to do and all of those things. If your content is not fulfilling one of those roles, know, like, or trust, you're wasting your time. You're posting just for the sake of posting, and that's not going to push you forward. It's not going to help you gain followers, but more than that, it's not going to help you gain clients. And nobody wants to just post and waste their time. So create a plan, a strategy. Make sure that you understand what your goals, not just for the business overall, but your goals for social media are. Have an end game for that plan. So I'm recording this the week after Christmas, and this week I posted a reel about what's your end game, and I got so many comments and messages on people saying, I wish I knew my end game. Y'all, what is your post point? You can put it in one of those categories. Is it to help them get to know you, like you, or trust you? Is it to help get people to your email list? Is it to help people get to your Facebook group? What is the point of this post? If it's just there to fill up space, to post something because you think you should, rethink it. Is it pushing you towards your goal? If you have a goal to book more travel in July, is it talking about traveling in July? So what is the point of it? If there is no point, rethink. That's content mistake number 2. All right, number 3. Content mistake number 3. Using the wrong calls to action. And this is actually going to go back to the first one I talked about as well. First off, not every call to action needs to be comment. And I get this a lot too. I'm using call to actions, but nobody's commenting. I'm using this. Keep going, keep doing, have friends comment, teach people how to use your content, which we're going to talk about that even further next week. But have people that you know comment. Be willing to say, myself and another travel agent are going to get together and I'm going to comment on their post and they're going to comment on my post. That way there's always engagement. That's not really the long-term goal, but we can teach people how to engage with us. And so make sure that you work with someone and talk to them about, hey, will you just post the first comment for me and ask me a question, let me answer it. But also, don't just use comment and double tap. I am a firm believer that double tap and likes are nothing but a vanity metric. It makes you feel good because it's been liked 40 times. Nobody cares. Remember calls to action, like save this post. I'm going to be honest with you. In my content, I get the most excited when you guys save my post because it means that you liked what I said and you want to remember it. And that teaches me that I need to go back and do more of that. Like I had a post this past week that got saved like 145 times or something like that. I'm like, okay, I got to break this one down again. I know that it is something you all are interested in, which means I need to talk about it again. And so saves really speak to me as a content creator in the fact that I am talking about something that they're interested in. And the same thing with shares. If you are posting gifts of like parents after the day after Christmas and how they need a vacation, and they feel that, they can share that post, right? Tagging someone in the comments, tag someone you know that wants to take their kids to Disney World for this great tip, whatever, that's also. But I want you to really think about being salesy in the calls to action all the time. If you are posting about Royal Caribbean Cruise Line and every time you post, your only call to action is DM us to book or comment below for us to book or click the link in our bio to book. Don't always have a sales call to action. Going back to the first one, save those heavy hitting sales calls to action when you are really hitting home on that. Use engagement calls to action right? Okay. Next one. Over focusing on hashtags. Okay, I've told you before, I teach Instagram inside Careers on Vacation, which is a mastermind, an amazing mastermind. If you have questions about it, you can comment below and I'll be glad to answer that. But I teach inside this mastermind, and one of the main questions when I'm teaching my signature Instagram classes in that mastermind is, tell me about hashtags. Tell me about hashtags. Let's talk about hashtags. I have all these questions about hashtags, and I have one slide. In I have 3 classes that I teach. I have 3 classes that I teach inside Careers on Vacation, and I have one slide that has hashtags, that talks about hashtags. One in all of the classes that I teach. Why? Because hashtags are important. We'll put them on there. I have some rules that I live by, but that is not the end all be all. And I truly believe that we are going to see less emphasis on hashtags this year. I think as this year goes through, keywords are going to be key, essentially, that it is really going to be all about what the keywords are. And that includes keywords on your text, like in your captions. It includes keywords on the actual graphic itself, whether it's the video or the graphic picture that you've put up. Those words are going to be keywords. And if you are on video, the words that come out of your mouth. So if you're using captions, it's going to double do your keywords, right? If you're talking about Disney, say Disney often, put that up on there. Those keywords are going to hit home. And so make sure that you are doing those things and think about keywords as opposed to hashtags. I really believe that is how that it's going to go, because the algorithm is shifting that way, especially since the release of topics on Instagram at the end of last year, or well, it was kind of the fall of last year, we started getting topics for our reels. I think that is going to be to kind of divide it into keywords on the explore page and the search page. So that becomes really important. So I'm not telling you to stop using hashtags, but this episode is definitely not about hashtags. But what I'm telling you is, don't put so much stress on yourself about using the right hashtags. Use a few, use them, but don't lose sleep over hashtags, and don't let hashtags be a reason you don't post. Okay, this is the last one, and this truly is the most important. This is truly the biggest mistake I see people make. The top content mistake that I see travel agents make is not repurposing. And I don't just mean cross-posting, okay? Yes, repurposing means posting reels on TikToks and reels on Pinterest and reels on YouTube Shorts. Yes, that's cross-posting, that's repurposing. Sure, that's important. But the other part of repurposing that I'm talking about is what I said earlier. If you have a post that has performed really well, how else can you create that post? So let's talk about it. If you have a carousel post, that carousel post, the exact same thing can turn into a reel. Each slide of that carousel post can be its own post. Each slide of that carousel post can be its own reel. It can be an Instagram live or a Facebook live or a YouTube video. That one post can become a blog, an email, all of those things. All of that content can be repurposed from one idea. So one content idea, one topic is not one post. It's hundreds of posts, right? Say it in different ways. Do an original audio, like you're using your voice to create a reel, but then also do it with a trending audio and point to things. All of those become new content pieces from one old content. So I'm going to give you a look inside our business, inside my business as a social media marketing agency. When I create content for agencies, I have a status, a specific piece. I have a team member that goes in and tracks that piece of content. Every piece of content that is put out for agencies gets tracked to see how well it performed. Then it gets sent to me to brain dump ways to repurpose the content that performs well. So if this carousel post performed exceptionally well, we are going to turn that into other pieces of content, and it goes back in. So you do not have to reinvent the wheel every single time that you create or come up with an idea. One piece of content turns into so many more. You don't have to start over. Years ago, when I started working with the business manager, our business coach that I have now, I told her, I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over again. And do you know what she said to me? If you have listened to me talk very long, you've heard me say this, but this is what she said to me. Do you think Nike ever gets tired of saying, just do it? They don't. They use it over and over again. They do it all different ways. They use it in all different ways, but they say it over and over and over again. You don't have to change up your message and reinvent the wheel every single time you post. You can say the same things in different ways over and over again. It's going to save you time and frustration and burnout if you do that. So go look. If you're looking for content ideas, number one, if you're looking for content ideas, I post 4 content ideas every single Friday on my Instagram at Kelly Haysmith. But if you're looking for other content ideas, go to your feed. Go to your feed and look at posts. And how can you turn what you've already talked about into another piece of content? That's your assignment for this week. Until Friday, where you watch whatever, 5 Things Fridays, and then come back here next week on Tuesday. I look forward to talking to y'all then. Find me on Instagram. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you are listening or watching this. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, ring the notification bell so that you don't miss anything, and make sure that wherever you're getting your podcast, you're subscribing, and leave a review. I would love that. We're almost 1 month in to the podcast now, so I would love a review from you. Y'all have a great week. I'll talk to you soon.